Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and in this video we're going to talk about something that just made headlines that in Jackson, Wyoming, Jackson Hole, their electric buses don't work. Yeah, they bought 8 of them for the transit system, but none of them are working. This is a Wyoming state newspaper, the Cowboy State Daily. And, a transit system run by the town of Jackson in Teton County are set to replace its diesel buses with electric, but none of the 8 electric buses in its fleet are running, and the company that made them went bankrupt. Oh, okay. So, and you can be sure that that was a company that the federal government just gave a lot of that $5.5 billion. So here we are, right here, the government doing what government does with your tax. You can't even call it tax dollars anymore because it's debt and interest on the debt that your tax dollars are paying. So this is tax debt that we're going into with interest that is now the United States government's biggest expense. Interest on the debt. Okay? But here we are, just burning money. That's right. You know, at the state, at the county, at the federal, at the county, and at the town level here. You know, they talk about here Teton County, and this is Jackson Hole, Wyoming. That's the town, Jackson Hole. And so you have the state, the county, and the federal government all putting money into this, and it is just burning. And yeah, they set their sight on low emission transit. These electric buses are not low emission. Okay? They are the same pollution as burning fossil fuels. Coal is. This electricity is coal generated. It is a fossil fuel. But, you know, everywhere on the bandwagon in resort towns, I live in them. They are, they're very embarrassing. It's very bad. They are woke, you know, they're so cool. Oh my God. It's really become actually kind of embarrassing that they're so uninformed and they're just so cool. And so they, of course, are, you know, on this electric bus because that makes the environment easy. If you say to them, hey, you know, let's end our disposable society, they'll lose their minds that they're not going to be inconvenienced. But right here, they say that the last of the electric buses went out of service 2 months ago, and some of the broken buses have been waiting for parts for months. And they are evaluating their options as they work through this because the company that made these buses went bankrupt, and they, right here, Chapter 11, Proterra is a Southern California-based company. They went bankrupt, and they're working through their bankruptcy, and they're trying to fulfill the contracts that they have. But as some of these articles say, does that mean the parts contracts they have too, or is that just for new buses? And it says here that Proterra, White House occupied approved. So, right. Okay, Proterra might have seemed like a solid company when the buses were ordered. It enjoyed financial support from federal taxpayers. That's right. There you are. There is your tax dollars. And, from federal taxpayers. And, as well as praise from, the occupants. So, this, where they got their federal tax dollars federal debt, okay, from the $5.5 billion for low and, no emission buses, each costing around $1 million each. So, you know, the occupant even took a tour of the company, and, you know, then they were talking about charging statements and whatnot, but The company went bankrupt, and so it's now trying to sort itself out, and Jackson is trying to sort out its transit system now. And, people are giving this some flack, and they say that instead of investing money in roads, which they had been talking about for a while, they say the majority of people wanted driving to remain inconvenient in hopes that people would ride more bikes and take public transit. And they said that's not very practical, but yeah, you know what? Yeah, it is. I lived in Vail, and I rarely drove my car, and I moved there for in-town transportation. Vail has an absolute great bus system, and why does everybody take it? It's not so much that driving is inconvenient. It probably would be if a lot more people were on the roads, but there's no parking. Okay. So, Big Sky, they have a bus route. It was really pathetic when I first moved there, and it's become a little better. It's not that great. It's something that you can use if you don't have a car, and then it can really get you somewhere, but it's not convenient like Vail's. They had them running, especially in busy times. Like, they met the demand, okay? And it was very workable. So the thing about driving in these small mountain towns is there's no parking, and traffic in Jackson is just crazy as it is. So, I'm for people getting out of their cars in areas that aren't designed and don't have the infrastructure to have cars. Okay. It's only practical, but they're getting a lot of criticism from people that live outside of mountain communities. Okay. But that's not completely solid. But here we are, we have the federal taxpayers. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. And it just never stops. The just abuse of the money that goes into the federal coffers and where it ends up. And right now, where it's ending up is that this company is bankrupt. And this article here says that it was a 3-year-old EV bus fleet from a now bankrupt Proterra. What a waste, right? But and why does the government do it? For the same reason the government does everything that shouldn't be being done, because the people allow it. Okay, so the people, they can moan and groan all they want, but they have nothing to moan and groan about, because it happens because they're not Americans and they don't put a stop to this. And they haven't in decades. And so here we are, another bankrupt company, a U.S. taxpayer primarily supported bank company who's then, they not only do they support the company, Proterra, but then they go out and they have everybody be given money to buy the company's product. Okay, what? That is not free market capitalism. That is not how America is supposed to be designed. That is not what tax dollars are for. But right here it says, according to the Cowboy Daily, that article I was reading, residents of America's wealthiest per household county, that is Teton County, who have already received millions of dollars of federal transit administration grants to pay for their existing electric buses, plan to buy new ones. Right. So they'll find a new supplier, because, as the article sarcastically says, that'll solve everything. So, yeah, it's not going to solve everything. And one thing it isn't solving, all financial issues aside, is it's not solving our environmental problems. You know what? Oh, what could we be using? Oh, hemp. Oh, yeah, hemp. Do you hear anybody talking about that in their green buses? No. Why not? Because they're environmentally illiterate. And try teaching them and try getting them to have an open mind. Okay. I can assure you, Jackson, the mountain, I've never approached the town. The mountain is as uninterested in solutions as Vail, as Big Sky, as the White House, as the United Nations, as Congress, as Gore, as Greta, as every environmental voice, as much as Bobby Kennedy cannot be bothered to give you solutions. Neither can Jackson. Because if Jackson would have led, I wouldn't need Bobby Kennedy to give you solutions. But instead, what are they doing? Oh, that's right. The one thing government is good at, because Americans let them. So no problems are being solved here, and tax dollars are just burning. Stay tuned, people.